fantastic session earlier. And I think
before you go on, Wanjiku, can you hear me? That's the most
yes,
important.
I'm so excited. I can hear you.
Sorry about that.
No problem. As you know, we had a very nice session in the morning, and it's amazing just how LPG demand and LPG access and convenience is actually being driven by the consumer, and brand owners are actually having to adapt and respond to consumer needs. So finally, the consumers are getting an ear and calling the shots, and hence triggering the kind of innovation that we had about in the morning. And even in terms of financing and in terms of LPG being painted with the brush of a decarbonizer and as a solution to the myriad of issues that are facing sub-Saharan Africa. Health not being the only one, but also conservation of the environment, climate change mitigation to ensure that we have food security, etc. So David, really now please allow me to hand over this session to you so that you can take us through the afternoon, since I was, on call most of the morning. So your show really, David. And thank you everyone for joining us. And David, the show is yours. Handing over the mic.
Thanks, Wanjiku. And I hope this audio holds out. And yes, we talked about the impact that moving from transitional fuels to LPG has on the environment, on health, on the economy, but also on quality of life. I think that's something that we often overlook, because I think it's commonly known that 3 billion people are still burning traditional fuels, and that means there's almost 1 billion people going out every morning early to collect some of those traditional fuels from the forests, and those forests get further and further away, surprise, surprise, and deforestation becomes an even greater issue. So it was really exciting to hear some of the discussions this morning, and now we move into the second half of this summit, and we have quite an array of speakers lined up, and I suppose it's probably correct to say that we're now moving a little bit away from Africa and seeing what's going on around the world, and seeing whether there's any lessons out there that we can bring into Africa, East Africa, and Kenya in particular. So welcome back if you joined us this morning, and if you didn't, you missed a very interesting session, and one that you can pick up on later, because the proceedings will be available, and also I believe there's going to be a recording made available too. So we're going to kick off as we often do kick off with LPG conferences, with an overview of the supply-demand pricing picture. And for that, I'm going to ask James Gooder from Argus Media to give us a 15-20-minute overview of how he sees and how Argus Media sees the LPG world. I'd like to say post-COVID. We're still in COVID, but certainly it'll be interesting to hear from James as to what happened last year when COVID hit the world, and what happened to LPG demand in particular, and how the LPG industries basically stood up to it. So, James, I don't know whether you're online. I hope your audio is. We move from the introduction. So this is my introduction, and we'll call my introduction to a halt there, because we are behind schedule. So if we can then move across to the first session this afternoon, which, Alfred, I believe is session 6, is it?
6, yes, 6th, the 6th webinar session.
So for those of you who have joined for the first time, take your cursor over to the left-hand corner onto the stage, click on the stage, and you'll see down the right-hand side the opening session. Leave that and join. Well, I think it's where is 6? I can't see 6 on my tab. But leave Summit Part 2. Welcome, and Alfred, where do we see session 6?
Just a moment.
Do we have to go back onto the floor?
Just a moment.
We'll wait for Alfred to find out where session 6 is. Sit tight, James. We'll be with you in a second.